Good evening, guys. Tonight we are starting on the lowering kit for the C8. This is the kit from Paragon. The wrenches for the back to lower the back. This is lowering collars for the front. This is the wrench if you've got the Z51 mag ride. This goes around the wire, and then this goes on the wire like I'll show you as we get into this. And this is the pick for the electric connector on top of the tower. So we'll get into this. I'm not going to show the whole video because there's a bunch of videos on there already, and Paragon has a very good tutorial video. Just wanted to share what was going on. So this is our car. It's a 2020 C8, fully loaded. Carbon fiber, as you can see. If you guys have seen my other videos, you know what it's got. LT3, or 3LT I guess it is. All the carbon outside, all the carbon inside, the high wing, red interior, GT2 seats, etc., etc. So I'm going to show you something here. One of the things that a lot of people comment about is these top of the tower is holding water, and this car's never been in the rain, just washing it. And as you can see, it's full of water. So I am going to get the caps for this. I'm going to order them tomorrow. But just to remind you guys, tonight what we're doing is getting this suspension done, as well as taking the wheels off tomorrow, the existing wheels, which are the black standard wheels, and putting on the Forgeline F01s. Okay guys, you're going to see me using some tools here, so don't laugh at me. So I do not use a rattle gun, an impact gun. Number one, it chews up your expensive bolts. And secondly, it's really hard on the studs. And I've raced cars or motorcycles or something now for 43 years, and it annoys the crap out of me when I see guys using a rattle gun. You know, you see guys at NASCAR and this and that and the other thing doing it, but you know what? They're replacing them every race or every so often. You will rarely, if ever, see me use a rattle gun on my wheel studs, and that's why. So far, this has been pretty easy so far. So just a little bit of matter of engineering. Excuse me. I hear guys comment about these being a tube frame, a unibody, blah, blah, blah. And if I think about it, I'll insert it into this. But this is not a tube frame car. It is made just like a Ferrari or Lamborghini in particular, with an aluminum backbone, unequal length upper and lower control arms. Beefy sway bars, the adaptive ride, which we're screwing around with now, and there's the sensor for the ride height for the lift, and we'll be undoing this bolt here, and that'll get us that out, and then we'll drop the shock out. This is taking a whopping 10 minutes so far. So I lied a second ago. I said it took me 10 minutes. It took me 17 minutes, but that included jacking the car up, so probably about 10 minutes. So this is all done. I got to undo the top bolt on the top of the coilover, and then, as per Paragon, push the suspension down and pull the whole assembly out. So I did the bolt on the top, and now according to Paragon. Push the suspension down and the coilover should slide out. Now, do I have enough weight? Yes, I do. So the first one is out. So guys, I'm going to cheat. What I'm going to do is do both these at the same time, or pretty much the same time, so I'm getting my new wheels put on tomorrow. So I'm going to bench these both now and get this undone. So I'll get the other side done. We don't need to do this twice. And I'll update you when we're on the bench. Okay guys, 11:37, and I wanted to share with you that at 11:37 I got both coilovers out. I don't know how much I'm going to do tonight because I don't have a coil spring compressor and I don't want to blow my brains out getting it off, but this shouldn't be more than a 15-minute job per side. So I actually started at 10:56, but from 10:56 to 11:37, 11:38, we got everything apart. Minimal drippage on the brake fluid. While I've got this apart, I am going to ceramic coat everything in here. I've got a, if you watched my GTR video when I bought the GTR, I went ahead and ceramic coated the wheels. And since I had the wheels off, went ahead and ceramic coated I taped everything off and ceramic coated the calipers, all the aluminum, so it stayed fresh looking. And that stuff's safe for everything, including plastic and stuff, so I went ahead and just put armor shield on everything, Avalon King armor shield. And I can speak for them highly. I've got a new truck actually arriving on Friday, and the first thing I'm going to do when I get it back to the house is I am going to put the Avalon King armor shield 9 on it. So there's two wheels off, the fronts, and we'll pull the back ones off. Tomorrow the forge lines are going in and getting the tires swapped over, and I'll probably get some R compound tires for this. And I'm a little bit torn. People are suggesting the new Goodyear, and when I put these wheels on, I'll use spacers. But anyway, I'll use these tires for my street tires with the Forgeline wheels, and then these wheels I'll keep for autocrossing and track days. So that's it for tonight. Join me for part 2. You'll be on with me for part 2. I'll do a continuation of this video, and it's not going to be very long anyway. That's the story. So next will be to unpin this connector, then go in and get the rubber boot off and take the caps off of this. But again, I don't have a coil spring compressor here at the house. It's in my race car trailer, so I'm going to get that tomorrow morning. Went over there about 6 or so in the morning and get that done. And we made some progress here. Okay guys, we're doing the backs real quick. So what we're going to do is loosen these collars. There's a rubber sleeve that goes up on here, right there, and it actually goes on a clip. If you look at the instructions, it doesn't tell you there's a little rib right there, but you got to get this off that rib. Inside here there's a little edge that runs over that rib, but anyway, get that off, loosen this, leave one thread per the instructions, we'll lower this down, and that'll get the back end lowered down. Again, guys, we're not going to do this for both sides. You get the message. And we're going to leave one thread exposed. And then we'll lower the big one. And according to the instructions, this will lower it about 3/4 of an inch. Okay guys, so I got the driver's side done. Now I got to take this tape off. That's no big deal. I will say, Paragon, you got to do a little quality control. So one of the things they say, you'll need more leverage on this thing, and I couldn't get more leverage on it because they say use a 3/8 socket or breaker bar in this opening right there. And you guys need to get control of your quality control a little bit because it wasn't even close. and for a whopping $1.50 piece of metal at the volume you're probably producing these and selling them for 44 bucks, you can get a little better quality control. I did get it done. It was a pain in the butt. It took me 15 minutes to lower it 7/10 of an inch, but it's done. I did one thread exposed, as they said. You know, keep an eye on it so you can do the same thing for the other side. But this tape, I didn't have it on to start. I forgot it, but it stops this collar, this metal collar here, from rotating with this one. And that's it. 15 minutes, it really wasn't that bad, but I'm worn the hell out. I guess I'm just old. Well, there we are, guys. It's all back together. The colors are in. You can see the color there. It's 7/10 of an inch lower than the other one. As you may recall, that label, that white label under there, was completely visible before. Now it's 3/4 covered, but that's where the height is made up. I have one complaint. Not a big complaint, but a complaint. So the nut that's on this shock tower bracket, I fought with it for a long period of time. What happened was the shaft was turning. So I called Cody at, I called Paragon and Cody answered. Very helpful. And on two things, actually. I called him an hour beforehand about the pins in this thing, trying to get them out. And what happens on these pins, when you guys get this, or if you get this, there is a purple thing. You really don't have to align it. It has to be lined up with the pins, but if you stick the tool in there with the toe, it's got a little toe on the end of it, pointed down. If you point that down and push straight back, they pop right out. But my complaint here, which Cody said, yeah, we didn't show in the video, but you have to use an impact wrench on it on some of them. Both of mine were, and my car's got about 1,100 miles on it, and it's never been outside. Excuse me, never been in the rain. I shouldn't say it's never been outside, but my only complaint is I had to use an impact wrench on that, and a good one. I've got a small one from Porter Cable, and my nephew had a 1/2-inch drive one, so I used that and it popped it right off. But that's my only issue, so we'll get it back together here. If it wasn't for that, I'd have had these done in about 20 minutes a side, complete. Actually, not even that, probably 15 minutes a side. The second one went very fast after I did the right one first, and now I'm doing the left one. But the right one took about, with the delay on the pins, which I wasted about 30 minutes on, and then another hour on the top hat bolt. That one took me an hour and a half. This one took me about, I didn't look at the clock, but I'm guessing 15 minutes. So all in all, I'm going to be, we'll see how long it takes me to get them back in, but if they go right back in as they came out, I'll be in this job less than 2 hours, and that includes lowering the back. So that's a quick update. I'll get you some pictures as we get this thing back together. Okay guys, I just got cleaned up after finishing up the C8 Corvette suspension mods and putting the new wheels on. Well, what do you think? Those are Forgeline F01 wheels with the standard Michelin tires that came from the factory, PS4s, I believe they are called. I am very happy with the way they came out. As you may recall from my last video, one of the things that I really liked about it was the color. Instead of being black, these are the anthracite gray. They might be anthracite black that they call them, but I think it really ties in well with the carbon fiber on this car, which brings it out, which I really, really wanted to do. So there she is finished, and then it's got the Paragon lowering columns. And I bought the whole Paragon kit with the adapter to take the top hat off for the Z51 mag right suspension, and I also got the collar wrenches for the back suspension and lowered that as well. Everything turned out all right, but I'll give you a couple of details here in just a moment. Well, guys, just to wrap up on the 2021 C8 Corvette, ceramic matrix gray, red interior, carbon fiber in, carbon fiber out, Z51 Magrite performance mag package with the exhaust, yada yada yada, 3LT interior, got the appearance group for the engine compartment, etc., etc. And as you just saw, just put on the Forgeline F01 wheels. And I haven't seen another one with them, and I actually haven't seen any on the internet, and I was kind of snooping around when I found these. And just a reminder from my last video, I was kind of peeving around in Summit Racing and saw that they had them for $2,196, I think it was, maybe it was $2,296. Delivered to my door, and it said May 17th for a delivery date, and that was last Wednesday, a week ago, which was the 26th or whatever it was. And all of a sudden they showed up last Friday. So very excited about that. Wanted to talk about the Paragon lowering collars and the wrenches for the rear end. So as I mentioned, I have the mag ride that has the wires that go through the center of the coilovers. And that by itself is not a big deal. And Paragon was very helpful. But what they fail to tell you is getting the top hat off is a 17 millimeter socket, I believe, off the top of my head. And I bought the wrench, it comes with it. In the 8-minute and 40-second video that they show you, it looks like that top hat should come off very easily with a 3/8 drive socket. And all it would do was spin. I spent an hour frustrated with that. And when I called them, they said, oh yeah, well, we didn't put it in the video. However, we ended up having to use an impact wrench on ours, which was very interesting and very frustrating. So after I did that, I got my 1/2-inch impact out, and after screwing around for an hour, which isn't the end of the world, just an hour that I gave up that I won't get back. Anyway, after spending an hour on that, took the impact to it, wham, got it done. The other thing is they don't explain to you very clearly how to use the pin release tool, which is a pretty important tool. You can't just use a regular poker because it won't fit in there. So the tool that they made actually is for this. But they say slide the blue or purple release inside one side or the other. Well, you don't have to do that. The pin release tool has a flat side with a little bird's beak on the bottom of it. So you have to get the bird's beak through the hole, you have to turn it 90 degrees so the bird's beak faces in, and then twist it straight, and when the flat part is in that slot, push it forward. And I had to push it forward once or twice, pulling gently on the back of the wire, and it popped right loose. I fought that for a little while too, because it says in their video and in the instructions to slide that blue little clip inside the face of the socket, or the pins. It says to slide it one way or the other. You don't have to do that. It does slide a little bit, but that's not the purpose of what that's in there for. Like I say, just put it in so the beak of the tool is facing in. Once you get it past the opening, turn it 90 degrees, which will make it flat on that tool that they sell you, and then wiggle it back and forth a couple times, pretty deep, and comes right off. So that was two of the things I wanted to tell you about. And the third, once you put the spring and everything back together, it's all pretty easy. I fought with it. Getting it assembled was great. Getting it back in the car was a predominantly pain in the bum. And my biggest comment is it doesn't screw with the alignment, and I fought with it on the driver's side, got it back in. It took me about 30 minutes. Part of the problem is when you're trying to slide if you're looking at this kit, and you probably watched Paragon's video, when you try to get the spring back up in there, to get the 3 bolts to line up, and with the foot of the brace where the bolt goes through and goes to the bottom of the control arm, it is fouling against the suspension and won't go in there properly, so it's really difficult. So on the passenger side, after fighting the left side, I just said to hell with it. There's 4 bolts holding the top control arm in, which is also how you adjust your camber if you are going to put it in the race spec. But there's only 4 bolts. Get a jack, put it underneath the ball joint, undo those 4 bolts, slide the control arm, the upper control arm out of the way, slide the coilovers back in, put it back up in there. That took me less than 10 minutes. So this job is a one-person job. You can do it by yourself. I don't know why they don't tell you these couple of things, a little more detail on the pin, because it's very frustrating. And I've been contacted by, or actually I contacted a few people on YouTube that I know, and also a friend of mine here in St. Louis about those pins, and they didn't have any instruction either. So I wanted to share this with you. And secondly, why in God's name they don't just tell you you need an impact wrench? I guess they want you to feel like you can do this at home, which is great. You can, I did. But either borrow one, buy one for 40 bucks at Harbor Freight, or whatever. A little cheap one won't work. I had to get a 1/2-inch drive, 20 volt Ryobi. I've got a Porter cable one that's a couple years old, but it wouldn't loosen it up. It didn't have enough bang on it. But those are the only troubles. Overall, as you saw on the front part of this video, it didn't take very long to get the whole thing apart. 38 minutes I had the car up, the coilovers out, and the back coilover collars done. The only other comment I'll have, just briefly, for as cheap as those collar tools are for Paragon to make or to have made for them, they say in their instructions you can put a 3/8-inch breaker bar in one of the squares on the back of the tool, and it's obviously either machined poorly in the United States, which I would not admit to as somebody who backs American manufacturing, or it's from some foreign country and nobody matched up the 3/8 against some metric size in some foreign country. So those are the things. Great. Other than that, did everything I wanted it to do. I've driven it around a little bit now, and I'll do a driving video and get some pictures tomorrow for you guys and do a separate video. But thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to you on the assembly part. I hope you like how the car came out. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm very happy with these Forgeline wheels. Something different that I haven't seen, and haven't seen them anywhere locally for sure. And having lowering it too, I think it made a big difference. But we will catch you guys on the next video. Please like, subscribe, and please feel free to comment below on your thoughts on installing the kit and or how you think the car looks, and particularly the Forgeline wheels. I can highly recommend them, and especially for the price. Turn your own wrenches, enjoy it. That's the best part of this, is I did it all myself in my own garage on my own time. And had I not had those problems, this would have been on a long side 2 to 2.5 hour job from start to finish. So best to everybody, and we'll see you next video.